Happy Victory Monday, Vikings fans. And coming up on today's show, we're going to be diving into the latest hot takes following the Vikings' much-needed win versus the Indianapolis Colts last night. And I wanted to highlight, in my opinion, the play of the game. Jordan Addison running a corner route in the right corner of the end zone, and it was an unbelievable one-handed catch. We'll also dive into Addison's performance and also talk about what his dad had to say actually about the game last night. But before we do so, guys, I just want to say thank you so much. We actually crossed over 40,000 subscribers here on the channel, and it is all credit to you guys. So seriously, thank you guys so much. The support you show on every single video is awesome. And if you guys haven't already, please hit that sub button. We post videos every single day covering your Minnesota Vikings. But seriously, thank you guys so much. All right, so what are the hot topics we're going to be discussing on today's show? So number one, the Sam Darnold mania. He had his ups yesterday, but he definitely had his downs. So I want to dive into that. Then also Cam Robinson. He filled in for left tackle Christian Darrisaw last night in his debut, and he killed it. And then also the defense for the Minnesota Vikings. Is it back after only allowing 6 points to a pretty good Colts offense? And then TJ Hawkinson, he returned to the lineup. What did that do for the Vikings offense? And then we also got to talk about it. Garrett Bradbury and Ed Ingram, they continue to struggle at the interior of the offensive line. Maybe it's time for Dalton Risner to start at right guard. But let's start off with the man of the hour, Sam Darnold. Now, a lot of people, and me just walking in the Chat Sports studios today, were like, oh, we saw the old version of Sam Darnold. And I totally get where people are coming from. But if you take out just a couple of terrible plays from Darnold yesterday, he was awesome. I mean, 28 of 34, 290 yards, 3 touchdowns. He had some beautiful throws yesterday. And when he has a clean pocket and the play is, on time, on script, he is one of the better quarterbacks in the NFL. But we also saw him with the turnovers. I mean, the one play on the first drive of the game following the Jonathan Taylor fumble, he's just rolling out, trying to make too much happen, and he throws a pick in the end zone. That just can't happen in playoff games. So I think Darnold, he's been good so far this season, but we are starting to see his kind of old self that we saw with the New York Jets kind of slip into, his play for just a couple of plays so far this season. But I do want to share with you guys a tweet. This was actually coming in from Jordan Addison's dad, saying even Stevie Wonder could see Jordan Addison is open on Sam Darnold's interception. Now, I was joking around with producer Colin last night that I hate showing, Twitter screenshots of guys being wide open because it necessarily doesn't tell the whole story, but I think this screenshot does. So you see Jordan Addison, he's running a deep crosser right here, and if Sam Darnold puts that football right where my finger is, like maybe up there by the 50-yard line, that's probably a walk-in touchdown for Jordan Addison. Instead, he tried to hit Justin Jefferson on the back end on an in-breaking route. He just forced that in the triple coverage. And I will say this, when you have a guy like Justin Jefferson, I'm almost okay with Darnold forcing a couple of throws to him throughout the game. I mean, if I was a quarterback, I would do the same thing, trying to get number 18 the football. But hey, right here, he had Jordan Addison wide open. And, I thought my overall take on Sam Darnold's performance was it was an unbelievable game for him. Like, I don't want people getting on here and just focusing on the turnovers. And yes, they were bad. By no means am I saying he played a perfect game. But he did enough late in that fourth quarter, specifically on that kind of game-ending touchdown drive where he found Josh Oliver on that naked corner route. Like, he did enough for the Vikings to go get a win. And if you just look at, the total stats, the Vikings handled the Colts in this game. If you take away the 2 missed field goals, the bad turnovers, that game probably should have been 34-13. But I'm really not too worried about Darnold's performance. I just really think this is who Sam Darnold's going to be for the rest of the season. We are going to get the highs. We're going to get the wow plays from him. But we are also going to get the what the F plays. What is he looking at? And, the one thing with Darnold I do want him to, implement more in his game is him taking off with his legs. I felt like too much in the pocket. He just stands there. He gets happy feet. He gets nervous. So I do want him, especially on these third and long situations, not be scared of just, hey, your first read's not there. Maybe not work through your progressions and then just take off and try to pick up the first down with the legs. But I do want to address this real quick. I am not going to be talking about this QB debate for the rest of the season. The J.J. McCarthy, Sam Darnold, who's going to start next season, I just think it's a waste of time right now because I really don't think we can make an argument for either side of this without getting the full sample size of the season. So we will have no QB debate here on the channel between JJ and Sam Darnold while the season is going on. We're going to focus in on number 14. But there's a lot of noise on social media where people are, trying to take victory laps on Sam Darnold going pumpkin mode. But I want to show him some love on today's show. Type his jersey number, type those 14s down below in the comments section. Now, I do want to give a massive shout out to this man right here, Cam Robinson. He made his debut last night versus the Colts, and he did not allow a single sack, and he was absolutely awesome. And I thought the coolest part of, honestly, the entire game yesterday was actually what Kevin O'Connell had to say in his locker room speech to Cam Robinson. He actually started off the locker room speech addressing the new left tackle from Minnesota. He said, "For anybody who played left tackle in the NFL, it's one of those things we can go out and block the man across from you. You can wear purple. You can wear teal. You can wear white. You can wear red. You can wear whatever you want. But you show up on a Wednesday, have a couple of days of work, and go out and play like that." And he goes, "Welcome to the Minnesota Vikings, Cam Robinson." And the locker room absolutely exploded, and Cam Robinson was pretty cool. He actually had a couple of tears in his face when Kevin O'Connell was showing him all types of love. So, listen, I know Cam Robinson. He is no Christian Darrisaw. I mean, Darrisaw is the top 3 left tackle in the league. But I love the fight he showed all night long. And he was actually getting in the faces of a couple Colts defenders after they were getting chippy with Jordan Addison and Aaron Jones after a couple of plays. Like, clearly he wants to be here, and clearly he is excited to be playing for a playoff and Super Bowl contender. Now, I do want to get this quick take out here. When I was watching KOC's post-game locker room speech yesterday, I think he's one of the best culture builders in the NFL right now. Like, the whole, energy in that locker room, they all were, giving KOC their full, attention, and just, how he was talking to his players. Like, clearly they are ready to go to war for him every single Sunday. So, yes, we may, especially me, may get critical of his short down play calling, his red zone play calling, but the Vikings, they have a really, really great head coach in Kevin O'Connell. And, yes, he has his red flags. He has his mishaps, but overall, I think KOC, I am truly, truly grateful he is the head coach for our football team. Now, let's kick it over to another great coach on this coaching staff. Brian Flores. Is the defense back? Because they had a hell of a performance versus the Colts yesterday. And, if you take away that scoop and score, like, they only held them to a total of 6 points, 229 total yards, only 13 first downs. And the stat I love the most out of yesterday, the Colts did not get in the red zone a single time offensively, and their EPA per play was negative 0.26. Now, that's a positive, but we also got to talk about a negative. And one of my biggest concerns about this Brian Flores defense is the Vikings' ability to get a consistent pass rush without sending the house. Now, they did have a couple of sacks on that last drive where Jonathan Grenard got home twice. But again, felt like the game was already, pretty much settled at that point. But when the game was actually going on, the Vikings really struggled to get home with only 4. Yes, you are going up against a fantastic offensive line with the Indianapolis Colts, but I could see the Vikings making a move at the interior of the defensive line before the trade deadline coming up tomorrow at 3 p.m. But one thing I love to see yesterday, how about this? Dallas Turner actually outsnapped Patrick Jones II, 26-18. I thought this was great news. I actually thought Dallas Turner was fantastic in the run game yesterday. Obviously, he did not get home for a sack, but the thing I love about getting Turner more reps is hopefully he can develop over the next couple of weeks. Where at the end of the season and when the postseason comes around, he is looking like a true, maybe not star edge rusher, but definitely a problem coming off the edge for this group. And I know Patrick Jones had 5 sacks during the first 3 weeks, but I thought a lot of that was just scheme sacks. I never really thought he was doing the best job going one-on-one with whatever tackle it may be. So I thought that was great news, seeing Dallas Turner outsnap Patrick Jones. But I'll ask you guys this. A little Madden style for this one. Give the Vikings defense a Madden rating. Scale it for me 1 to 99. They've been pretty good throughout the season. They had their downs against the Lions and Rams. I'd probably put them around 89, 90 overall. But hey, you guys give the Vikes defense a Madden rating down below in the comments section. Now, before we dive into more hot takes and more takeaways, I do want to give a massive shout out to today's presenting sponsor, and that is Game Time. If you guys download the Game Time app today and plug in promo code ChatSports, you guys will get $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code CHATSPORTS for $20 off. Now, Game Time has a new feature called Game Time Picks that makes getting tickets to see your favorite teams play live even easier. Game Time Picks filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. Now, my favorite feature of the Game Time app is actually the views from your seat feature, where they allow you to get a panoramic view from your seat in the app before you even buy. And they also have all-in pricing, where you can toggle this feature to show you the total up front with no surprise fees at checkout. So if you guys are trying to go to a Vikings game, in about a month from now, they're going to be on the road for the next 3 weeks, but they are going to be back home versus the Arizona Cardinals and Atlanta Falcons. So if you guys want to get tickets to that game, I suggest you guys do so at Game Time. So download the Game Time app today, create an account, use code ChatSports for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, redeem code CHATSPORTS for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? It's game time. All right, now my second to last hot take from the game yesterday. Are the Vikings Avengers finally here? Did we finally add in that last Infinity Stone to this plethora of weapons the Vikings have? Well, I think they did, because all 5 of these guys are going to be fully healthy for the rest of the season. You got the 2 stud wide receivers in Jefferson and Addison. Aaron Jones, even though the stats didn't blow me away yesterday, I still thought he was very, very productive. And then TJ Hockenson and Josh Oliver. Actually, big shout out to Josh Oliver. He had a monster performance yesterday, over 50 yards, and obviously had that game-sealing touchdown. But I do want to show love to this guy. Like, his stat line yesterday, the fact that I didn't react to it just really speaks to how special he is. I mean, the amount of attention he gets on every single route. And when he has his one-on-one opportunities, which are very, very rare in the football game, he takes advantage. Like that one streak route he ran on 3rd and 2. I mean, he was just wide open, just completely dusted a Colts DB. And obviously, I think he is the best, in-breaking route runner, deep cross route runner in the National Football League. He sheds double teams. He really is so good at finding that soft spot in the zone. And also this man right here, he threw a 22-yard pass to Aaron Jones yesterday. I am sure we're going to see more Justin Jefferson passes. But also big shout out to Jordan Addison. He had that unbelievable catch in the back of the end zone, and he was just getting open all night long. He honestly should have had over 100 yards and 2 touchdowns yesterday, but I thought he looked great, and Kevin O'Connell gave him a lot of love after the game. So I fully expect we're just going to see a little bit of more of Jordan Addison week to week as the season progresses. And, TJ Hockenson, he wasn't the highest snap getter at the tight end position last night. That was actually Josh Oliver. But when he got in there, he was pretty good. He had 3 receptions, 27 yards, had that big 19-yard gain over the middle of the field. And, I think Hawk's going to be one of those guys. Maybe he'll, start off this season slow, but I think at the end of the year, especially when these cold weather games, when you still, got to go to Chicago, having that big time tight end in Hockenson, he will be so effective. So watch out for 87 to just get slowly better as this season progresses. But, let's finish it off here talking about the interior of the offensive line, because, they really struggled yesterday, and specifically this guy right here, Ed Ingram. He just gets ragdolled too much. Interior pressure on a quarterback is always going to be an issue, and especially when you have a guy like Darnold, and obviously we saw that with a guy like Kirk Cousins as well. It can really just throw off an entire drive. So how do you fix that? You put Dalton Risner in there. And listen, I understand the Vikings protection did not look good last night, but I will say this. The Colts have a very good pass rush, and, specifically that one play when Garrett Bradbury, it was on when Darnold got hit in the face mask, and, it was for the scoop and score. I mean, Garrett Bradbury just got absolutely ran over by Stewart for the defensive lineman for the Colts. That just can't happen. And, I don't know if they're going to make a move at the interior of the offensive line. Even Blake Brandel has definitely taken a step back over the last couple of weeks. So maybe they go make a move for a guard, but you already have a guard in your organization who was active last night in Dalton Risner. Maybe him getting in there would just help the whole interior as well. But, the Vikings really want to go all in on this season and try to make a Super Bowl run with how open the NFC is. Defensive line and interior offensive line are 2 moves that I could see the Vikings making. Now, I do want to, even though I just said the interior protection was awful yesterday, Darnold's pocket presence has been rough throughout this year. Too much. He just has happy feet in the pocket, and I feel like he tries to evade at the last second. And yes, he is a good athlete, but he's not a great athlete where he can, shake off a tackle from a defensive end. Like, he hasn't really shown that so much, this season. So hopefully Darnold, he'll just slowly get better in the pocket this season. He just holds on to the ball just a little too much. But, a lot of it goes to the offensive line, but also you got to, credit some of those sacks to the quarterback as he holds on to that football, more than any QB or longer than any QB in the National Football League. But if you guys made it to the end of today's show, we're going to use the free 3 call as a real one roll call because this man, Jordan Addison, he needs the football more. I mean, this play just drives me crazy. So if you guys made it to the end, give me a free 3 down below in the comments section. I mean, if Darnold just puts that football out there, we are looking at a way bigger score and a way bigger point differential in this game. But, it happens. Hopefully Addison will get involved more as the season continues. But I'm also on Twitter, @PatSieps to the Twitter handle. Give me a follow over there. I'll give you guys a follow right back. But see you guys next time. As always, Skol Vikes.